Your times of darkness and silence is when you cannot do anything about a situation and nobody can do anything about the situation. But always remember, when the work of man finishes, that is when the job of God starts.
Keep watching. Mofantulos and TV. Keep watching. Don't change it. Keep watching. Don't change it. Keep watching. Don't change it. And one loss and TV.
You carry the child to the hospital, and then the best pediatricians come and surround your child, and they are putting IVs on the child, they are drawing the child's blood for tests, they are doing everything, and for well over 2 or 3 days the child's temperature doesn't come down, and then the doctor sits you down and tells you, if this temperature doesn't go down, there is a likelihood that your child's brain can be damaged because of the temperature. And you are a father or a mother, we are jana sena we are sisikenina sese e ka se corrente an ambulance for your child you can afford, and you make all the necessary arrangements to fly in an ambulance to pick up your child, to take your child to America, and then the doctors will tell you your child is not stable enough to travel abroad. And you are a father, you wish you took over the sickness from your child, you wish you had the temperature and your child is free, you wish you could do some magic for your child to be healed. Especially there is a gentleman who is a medical doctor that supported and helped the child, a medical doctor, an oncologist specialist whose child had cancer in the leg, and the wife was also a nurse, an oncology nurse. And then he said, what breaks my heart, Papa, is that when I see my child and my child tells me, Daddy, am I going to die? These are times that we call dark moments, when as a father you have used all your resources and you are ready to do the best, and yet nothing changes. Dark moments are when a minister has done everything in his church and nothing is working. I'm talking about that moment. At times when you go to the hospital and they say, we've done a mammogram and we have found foreign cells in your breast. Your dark moments may be when you have taken your building for a loan and somehow you imported fish and they all got rotten and the bank is about to auction your house. Everybody may have one dark moment or the other. It may not be today or tomorrow, but I came to tell you, whether it is today or tomorrow, every one of us one day, somewhere, somehow, shall encounter a dark moment. And at that moment, there is nothing you do for yourself that can change the situation. There is nothing you do for your children that can change the situation. I came to encourage you today. Enough of what you do for yourself. It's about time you go beyond self and go into God and start doing things for God and start establishing altars for God. Ladies and gentlemen, I came to tell you, in the days of silence, there is nothing you do for yourself that can save you. At that time when the doctors say you cannot have a child, I came to give you a key. Go to God and tell the Lord, this is what I've done for you, this is what I've done for the kingdom. I sacrificed my job, I sacrificed what was not right, I followed you with my whole heart, I have been a tither, I have been a giver, I sacrificed in the house of God, I held the hands of the servant of God. And in the days of silence, nothing you do for yourself speaks for you. It is only what you do for God and for humanity and eternity that will speak for you. When things begin to roll well for you, don't think that you have arrived. No, you have not. There will definitely be a time when you'll be bruised to a level that nothing you do can change your situation. And there are times, even as pastors, your sons and daughters come to you with peculiar problems and you wish you had a solution for them, and you pray all kinds of prayer. The Bible talks about all kinds of prayer, so there are different dimensions of prayer. That's not why I'm here. And yet nothing changes. Your times of darkness and silence is when you cannot do anything about the situation, and nobody can do anything about the situation. But always remember, when the work of man finishes, that is when the job of God starts. I don't think I came here to be applauded for. No, that's not why I came here. But I came to challenge every one of you, because God told me that God is taking us on a different pedestal. As an organization and as a church, being part of it, God is taking you to a different level. And God is not going to take users. How will you feel when you realize that the friendship you are in is just a friendship that friend is using you? What do you want down for? You've taken a friend, you know the friend is a very good friend, and you are investing in the friend. You've done everything you could for the friend. The friend comes to your house every day to eat because the job was lost. You do everything for that friend. Do everything. But then when you need simple things from the friend, you give 100,000 to, and you are sitting in an Uber and you don't have money on you, and the friend should just pay that Uber of 100 cedis. Hey, Kofi Mesuma Fesika Mo. Who said 200 cedis at it? How do you feel whenever the friend comes to your house and eats and everybody, you tell your mother, if even he comes and I'm not there, give him the food to eat. And then one day you go there and you are hungry, the mother is finished food, and the moment he hears you coming, now what the Kofi me there, and the man me catch and say me need you me fascinating or mobi aduane me there wa ma me bi. Now one katane na aduane ni so you know say aduane na tete ho. How will you feel when you know that somebody is using you? Some of you have used God enough. Allow God to use you too. Give me a husband, he gives you. Give me a job you had never dreamt of, he gives to you. Give me a house, some way somehow he gives you houses you didn't build. Give me a husband, some way somehow you break the family limitation, he gives you a husband. Give me. Do you realize that in every relationship, watch this, regardless of what you have or what you don't have, never allow any relationship to be one-sided. Maybe your friend has money to support you, give him your time. Okay? The principles of life, and he said, Emma obia amro papa yeso obetime de ni sika abro papa yeso oso wadaje e fa bro ni sika no papa yeso enti da bia no wayo papa enso wo so why ne papa. That is the beauty of relationship, and that is how come relationships can be well sustained. Don't let it be a one-sided relationship. He's spending his money on you, he's spending his time on you, he has to check up on you, he has to come and take up your children to school. That is not how relationships are maintained. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you get into any relationship and the person feels that you are being a user, the person begins to find a way of exit. But the only way for any other entity to stay is to realize that I gave him a car, but for his attitude, I can imagine that if he had a better car, he would have given it to me. I gave him a car, and because of the car, he knows I cannot pick up my children from school. It's car I'm the man, no. But the family ma a free school. O mami nya adwuma na me ye ya me di nya sika to car man no. Me nya adwuma ne ho enko family ma. To on kan kire say be fani ma o, but you determine in your heart, why am I papa? Me so your papa ni bi. You gave me a car, I will use the car to bring your children back home. And that was the miracle of Hannah. I don't think I asked you to clap. And that's why I start my message from the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1. Elkanah had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had children, Hannah had none. It came to pass that whenever they went to Shiloh, the place of worship, that Hannah could only sacrifice for herself, and that was the only place Hannah would meet her rival, Peninnah. And then Peninnah will begin to tell Hannah, you don't have children, I've got children. Ladies and gentlemen, when God favors us, we should not use that favor to enslave other people and to let people feel inferior. Whether it is the anointing, whether it is the blessings of God. Do you think it is by choice that somebody doesn't have a child? So when God blesses you with a child, don't use childbirth as an occasion to let people who don't have children feel unwanted in the house of God. There are people who have never had any intimacy with any man. Their husbands married them virgins, but after marriage they cannot conceive, or because they say their wombs are blocked. There are women that have seen a lot of men, had a lot of abortion. They get married, and in less than 6 months, bang, they are pregnant. Do you think that you have a child because you were holy? It is because mercy found you. Never use anything that God gives you by mercy as an occasion to let others who don't have it feel inadequate. Whatever we have is not as a result of our hard work, but whatever we have is as a result of the grace of God. And then Hannah will come to church sad, and when she's home, she's happy. But whenever they come to sacrifice at Shiloh, she's sad. Some of you think that coming to church means that you never be hurt, and that is why some of you get it wrong. Being hurt is part of the testing process, whether you can survive and whether God called you here or didn't call you here. Because if you have never been hurt and disappointed in your institution, you are never a member of that institution.